What's up and welcome to Me, You, and Switch 2. I am me, Tom Tate, and you are you. So let's talk about Switch 2. This is the latest and greatest in Nintendo Switch 2 news, brought to you every Tuesday and Friday in snackable episodes. We try to keep things 10 minutes or less. I think today will be pretty quick. Not a lot of news this week. It is Friday the 13th. Hope that you have a great Friday. Kind of ease yourself into the weekend. Hope this day doesn't bring you any bad luck. I'm not typically a superstitious person. Last Tuesday was Mario Day. We released an episode, and then right after the episode, there was a Yoshi and the Mysterious Book trailer that dropped. This was pretty good. I watched this. You're kind of helping to fill out an encyclopedia by discovering various creatures and the different levels. The art style for this just looks amazing. I think this game's going to be really pretty to look at. It's clearly designed for younger gamers. I have this kind of feeling towards Yoshi games and some of the Kirby games as well too. Not all of them. They're just slow. Like they just run slow. But that's a me problem. You know, they're not designed to be fast-paced action games. They're slower paced. I mean, this is the type of game that they are. And I've really enjoyed all of the Yoshi games that I've played. You just have to kind of retrain your brain. I'm used to listening to podcasts, you know, on 1.5 or 2x speed, which is crazy, I know. But again, it's a me problem. But this game did get a release date. It'll be May 21st that this game comes out, and it'll probably be $70 if the UK price is accurate. I didn't see a US price, but the UK price would indicate that the US price will be $70. Natsume announced Harvest Moon Echoes of Terradia. This will be the next Harvest Moon title. It is coming to Nintendo Switch 2 and Nintendo Switch, so it'll be available for both. Not seeing a release date on this one yet. We also saw this past week, according to an official Nintendo press release, I think this was yesterday, global sales of Pokemon Pokopia for Nintendo Switch 2 surpassed 2.2 million in first 4 days. That was the headline. The more I see of this game, the more I want it. I'm seeing a lot of people online having so much fun with this game. Per Polygon, those 2.2 million sales are good enough to make it the fourth best selling title on Switch 2 behind Pokemon Legends Z through A, Nintendo Switch 2 edition, Donkey Kong Bonanza, and Mario Kart World. Kirby Air Riders rounds out the top 5 with 1.76 million copies sold. And they did mention a caveat that this data was from the end of 2025. So maybe Kirby Air Riders is in fourth place. I'm not sure. Tomb Raider 1 through 3 Remastered is now available on Switch 2, and this edition will get you 1440p at 60 frames per second docked and 1080p at 120 frames per second in handheld mode. It's currently half off. It's $14.99 in the eShop. And then finally, I will link in the show notes. There is a preview roundup for Elden Ring Tarnished Edition. This was at GDC. They showed off kind of a new 15-minute demo of the game. This famously ran very poorly when it was shown previously, and people were really worried about the state of ports on Switch 2. I think Final Fantasy VII Remake kind of showed that you can port, you know, these higher end games to Switch 2 pretty well, and it now appears that Elden Ring is improved. The performance seems to be on par with like playing on the Steam Deck, not really PS5, but, you know, playing the Steam Deck version of the game. So if you want to check that out, I'll link that in the show notes. And then, of course, there are a lot of releases today. So Friday the 13th, we have WWE 2K26 Standard Edition. That comes out today. That is $69.99. Monster Hunter Stories 3 Twisted Reflection. We talked a little bit about the review roundup for that last time. That is $69.99. Also releases today. We have Cozy Grove Nintendo Switch 2 Edition. That came out yesterday. That's on sale for $9.99. We already mentioned Tomb Raider Remastered. That is $14.99. I forgot to mention, if you have the Switch 1 edition, there will be a free upgrade, I think, next week. So you can hold off for that. Fatal Frame 2 Crimson Butterfly Remake. That came out yesterday as well, too, for $49.99, as well as Console Archives Sonic Wings Special. I don't know too much about that game, $11.99. And then the most previous release before that was Pokemon Pokopia on March 5th. There are a couple videos I'll link to on Nintendo's official YouTube channel if you want some weekend viewing. South of Midnight has a announcement trailer. There's a new Assassin's Creed trailer, and Scott Pilgrim EX has a launch trailer as well too. So that'll do it for today. I want to thank you so much for your time and your attention. Again, I hope you have an amazing weekend. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast on your podcast listening app of choice. Much love. Now go play some games.